All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is the Implementing Remote Employment and Work-Based Learning During Incarceration workshop. And we're really happy to have you all here today to talk in detail about these kinds of opportunities. And I just want to start by offering a couple of things that could be helpful from the get-go. We're going to be talking a lot about our implementation guide, which is really the reason that we're here today. So I dropped that in the chat. Feel free to take a look. And in the breakout sessions, in particular, we'll be looking at specific sections. But even at the opening and closing as well, we'll be diving deep into the content of that guide. I also wanted to share a couple of things related to other work at the Alliance. We have the 2025 Incarcerated Scholars Conference happening this October, and the call for proposals is now open. So if you're working with incarcerated students currently, please consider helping them to submit presentation proposals and creative submissions before July 16th. So that's our deadline for that, but the call is still open for another month or so. And you can also follow us on the website. We have an events page that shares upcoming events happening. And one of the things I want to highlight is our Incarcerated Scholars Conference Q&A session, which is going to be happening on Tuesday, July 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in the Incarcerated Scholars Conference and helping to have students submit, but have questions, please feel free to join in that Q&A session. And you can also email us at isc@higheredandprison.org. I'll drop that email in the chat. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Mara, Tori, and Lali, who are going to start us off here. And I'm going to unspotlight myself so that they're the focus of our attention. Again, thank you all for being here. And in about 20 minutes, we'll switch into our breakout rooms, 25 minutes, but we'll hear from these folks right now to get us started. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corrine. I am Mara Sanchez. I am Programs Director at the Alliance, and I'm going to let my good friends introduce themselves. You want to go first, Tori?
Good thing, Mara. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Victoria Scott. My friends call me Tori, and we're all friends here, so please feel free. I am a formerly incarcerated scholar and professional who is currently working part-time as the Strategic Initiatives Coordinator with the Educational Justice Institute at MIT, and very blessed to be, and a former inaugural fellow with the Alliance for Higher Education in Prison. I am so proud to be here with you all and really looking forward to our conversation about the EiA implementation guide and all its potentialities. Lali?
Thank you. I'm Lali, also government name Abdi Awad, but like Tori said, we're all friends. Lali's fine. I'm currently a PhD incarcerated students. I'm also a fellow with Alliance for Higher Education. Aside of that, I'm also a student employee at my school, but I play a role of curriculum development and consulting. And yeah. Glad to be here and talk about EA and its impact.
Thank you. Thanks, Lali. Thanks, Tori. And so if anybody here is noticing that the vibe is really good, it's because Tori and Lali and I have known each other for a long time, predating our work with the Alliance, and we're all located in Maine. And as such, we are have been very lucky to be a part of some of the most early adoption of education in action or work-based learning in remote contexts inside carceral facilities. And so this is work that's really exciting to me. I know it's exciting to both of you. And I feel really just lucky to be here in like a virtual panel with the two of you. You're two people that I respect really, really highly. And so I just wanted to say that. I'd love to start off by just asking both of you, and we can start with you, Tori, if you don't mind, how you became involved with this work, with the work that became this guide that we're featuring today. Just love to hear a little bit about that.
I feel like the simplest answer would just be like God's grace and magic. While I was serving my sentence in the Maine Department of Corrections, I advocated fiercely for educational opportunities to make sure that I could have a life after leaving prison. And that was so important to me. And when I saw what good that brought to the facility and how it changed the entire culture within those walls and created these bridges, these transitional, transcendent bridges from the inside to the outside, where you could form connections with people that were positive social circles of support and intellectual communities and professional networking opportunities. I really wanted to figure out how to make that happen. And at first, it felt a lot like a bit of a fevered dream, something that was crazy to even say out loud. Unfortunately for me, through my involvement with TEGI as a student and as a teaching assistant from the inside, which was kind of a volunteer work opportunity at first before I did it on the outside, I met Ved when we got involved with the National Prison Debate League. And that was the turn of everything. I remember he sat in on some of our debate meetings and our debriefings and was so impressed with the level of technological access that we had. That man knows an opportunity when he sees one. So he reached out to us and to administration, and there were applications going out for remote fellowships in 2023, 2024. And I applied for that. And I talked to my administration, to our community programs coordinator, about how billing would work to be able to receive the living wage stipend that I would be offered for my work, and to my education coordinator to speak with her about what this opportunity would mean to fill in resume gaps that were 7 years wide by the time I would be released, and to be able to actively apply my education in a tangible way that would allow me to feel comfortable in professional spaces, to have confidence. They saw that and they were willing to take a chance with me. And luckily for me, so was our very brave Commissioner Randall Liberty. Um, so I applied and I got involved in this work, and I saw my dream coming true. And not only did that move me, but that moved mountains within the correctional system, things that we thought were frozen antiquity. We saw all these evolutions and developments built. And after quite a while at the Alliance, I think it was about a year, we extended for 6 months, and I was given an opportunity for upward mobility. The Alliance team saw what I was capable of, saw my growth, took me under their wings, and helped me to build my professional strengths. And they gave me an opportunity to assume a leadership role in the composition of this guide for the draft of that. And I was so proud of my work, and I was so proud of the initiative that I took, and I was so proud to be able to be an anchor for my team. That meant the world to me, and that gave me kind of a new lease on life for my release, a new understanding of my capacity and confidences, and the ability to approach the world in a new way, knowing I would be ready for reentry and to enter the workforce. How about you, Lolly?
Yeah. For me, thank you, Tori. It's actually for me in general, the EA work project started out of necessary for me. When I got accepted to my master's program back in 2020, and yeah, and actually the first phone call I made was Tamara, who's sitting right here. Then that's when we met, and out of necessary, one that I have to pay for my school and got to figure out a way to offset my tuition. Started from that conversation, started from there, getting a graduate assistantship, then and getting that taste of uh, being, I call it in a outside of the financial gains, or like being humanized, right? For being humans, being seen as a human that you can contribute to something like that recognizes your worth. And from there on, I just start continue growing. Like, okay, if this is available, what else is there available? Applying to fellowships and vocations, and in that search, I have met Fed. And I remember email him. I'm like, hey, and we emailed back and forth and we connected. And I think we talked. He played a role like a mentorship for me for some time before even I became a fellow. And we will check in and meet, and he would meet me between conferences going from one end to the end, like, hey, I have a time you want to connect, and we'll meet. Like, and he was impressed, similar to that technology access. Sometimes meeting like 8 o'clock at night because of the time difference and where he was going. And that conversation continued building that led to him offer me an opportunity with the Alliance to become a fellow. Starting June 2024, and then getting extended, similar, and becoming a part of this work with already Tori and other fellows already working on the project, being a part of it, and knowing and feeling like, okay, I can work with this. I didn't have to feel nervous about it. I'm like, I can talk about my experience as someone who's working, and also kind of showing the way, like, it's good to do something. It's good to do something for yourself, but how do you spread that, right? Like, you don't want to contain the feelings. Feelings only good, like, but how do you expand that to others? And that's how I got involved in, by sharing the experience. And I would say at the time as a rookie, and with the alliance, and having Tori and Tori showing me the way and how to do things and make it so much easier. So that's how I got involved, and it has been amazing. To this day, I brag about it. I'm always copying the links, putting in the chat, every space I am. Hey, check this one out. So,
You copy the link to the guide.
yeah,
You're just in a chat about yoga, and you're like, here you go.
yeah, that's part of it.
I'm really glad that you brought up the other fellow, because I was sort of feeling that he wasn't here, Leo Hilton, who is also a correctional resident in Maine, and was a big part of this project as well. I'm wondering, Lali, because the work that you've done, you're currently a fellow with the Alliance, and the work that you've done related to work-based learning opportunities, what we're calling education in action, it has extended beyond this guide and continues. And so I'm wondering if you want to share a little bit about what else we've been sort of up to since putting out the guide, and just trying to talk to more people and gather more information about how this looks around the country.
I mean, it has been like I love when I go to spaces and talk about these things, and people grab their head. Like, I had someone actually grab their head, like, "Are you in prison?" And they're like, "How are you doing all of this? How is this possible?" Like, having those conversations and telling them where it came from, like where it extended. And since this guide came up, also, the in the in the Maine Department of Corrections, there are a policy now that supports the guide, and that's part of it. That's remote work learning, where not only um, open to like select individuals that who demonstrated that they need the not just the responsibility, but doing this work. Now it's open to a greater population, where other residents. And the word resident is the term we use in the state of Maine as for prisoners or inmates. The word residents. So it did expand to in different places. Not only in the justice field, uh, justice work field, like working this the field we're all in, but also other areas, whether that is yoga, the wellness places, like getting remote work as an incarcerated yoga instructor, or whether it is, teaching, or that it expanding to other areas, that other spaces looking at it and saying, okay, if this has happened, then why not open it? So yes, definitely has been more expanding in other areas that you would not think you will find incarcerated or just as impact the individuals working.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to the fact that you lead yoga classes from inside Maine State Prison. I still think that's so amazing. Tori, coming back to you, I'd love to hear some more from you, because you've seen several different sides of, work-based learning, education in action. I'd love to hear a little bit about why you think this is important. What is so important about this? about these opportunities?
Where do we begin? So much import. I really view that this is the only way, and maybe I'm biased, but if we're really, as a society, about healing and about rehabilitation and about correction and public safety and creating a better quality of life in communities where people thrive and they have a sense of purpose, then this is the best way to do that, to be able to create accessible opportunities for people to experience community, to experience professional purpose, to be able to expand and broaden their skill sets, to build confidence in those things, and to re-envision themselves, to literally recreate their self-image with all the adequate supports that they can take back to the world to be the person they never got a chance to be before they were incarcerated. This is how we promote that healing process. And this is how we break down barriers that prohibit and prevent people who have experienced incarceration, people who have caused harm and been harmed, from feeling eternally rejected from their communities and knowing that there's no place for them in this world. How else are you supposed to function? How else are you supposed to move if you're not accepted anywhere, if you don't feel that you're good at anything, if you don't have the opportunity to learn and to grow and to be received by people and to contribute? That's a big problem that we have is our current systems, although that needle is moving, we're evolving now, we're learning and growing. Our current society doesn't give the opportunity to formerly incarcerated people or currently incarcerated people, especially, to be contributors. And that's why this work is so important, because when you give of yourself, it makes you whole. It completes something that's missing in you, and it helps you to feel more connected, which is usually the cause of wherever we want to stray in the first place. This has incredible implications on economic growth and stimulation, the ability to pay taxes, to be financially stable, to support others financially, be in a position to do so, to be able to provide services that people need and to feel wanted and to want to show up, to be present and to enjoy your life. That's huge.
All right, Lolly. Got to hear it from you now.
Well said, Tori.
I know, right? I'm sorry to make you follow. I realize
Yeah, I kind of
keep
follow
setting
that.
you up.
Yeah, adding on Tori, what Tori said is really what is important. It is all the things Tori mentioned. The self-worth you gain, right? Not just the financial support that you can give to your family or pay for your school if that is the case, but it's just the self-worth you gain, right? Like I've from personal experience. Do you know when I got my first check that the taxes was taken out? I was missing out on my check, but I felt so proud, right? And to say, you can't tell me nothing. I'm a taxpayer, right? So it's just that sense of feeling, how that translates to your all other areas, right? And if coming up, waking up with that attitude in prison, right? Is what do you give up is what do you put up is what you get back, right? So like putting that energy out, I'm worth something, right? I'm paying taxes, I'm contributing to society, I'm contributing to my family. Um, I'm doing all of these things. Those things make yourself worth, right? And uh, I always urged and asked society, like, why just because I'm in prison, I did not forfeit my right to exist as a fellow being, and just the harm I have caused or harm that I have caused against me does not make who I am, right? So all those things repair those things that give you that self-worth, self-value, right? And and as I say in the beginning, and it makes you want to share it, right? Because it makes you feel so good that you want to share it, right? You have conversations, the relationships you build through this work, right? And knowing that what you're saying, the points you make matter, and somebody taking it in its place, right? It takes you out of that. Um, and it puts you in a space that it will put incarcerated individuals in this. It puts us in a space that cannot be recreated, right? So that's why it's important. And I would just add, I would close up by saying that it really reminds you what did you forfeit and what did you did not forfeit.
Yeah. So I just want to acknowledge that you have started, like you said when you first spoke, that you started out as a grad student looking for a way to, finance your master's degree because there is no Pell. And that's how you first got involved with working remotely, and it was with me. And you and Tori and Leo, who can't be here, but we're all missing, created this foundation, the foundation pieces, that went into this report, writing many of the sections, doing so much research, legwork, so much stuff that we couldn't even incorporate that we're still, relying upon for other work that we're continuing to do. And now, Lali, you are still with the Alliance, and you've been talking to people all over the country who are just starting out with implementing different variations of work-based learning initiatives. And so I wonder, from all of that, because that's a lot, what is your biggest takeaway? What's something that sort of stays with you that you want to share, that I don't know, that sort of lives with you as a part of this, that's maybe most important, the most urgent? I'm just curious, because you've seen a lot and you've been a part of this for a long time.
The fact that it exists, that's the first, right? The fact that it exists, and it's there for others to see it. The sample is there, the experience is there. But beyond that, it's like I've been incarcerated for 14 years, right? So to say it has been my best moments of the 14 years I had in incarceration, right? So taking those moments, knowing that sample, right? And what I take with me forward is the symbolism, the responsibility of it, right? Because I know where I am, and I have to show the symbolism of something like, hey, it exists. Now I'm not only going to tell you that I have done it, but you can read it for yourself, and it's possible, right? So that's what I take forward with me. So like it's almost like sense of responsibility and symbolism that I need to carry on, and it will not only be with me while I'm incarcerated, but even post incarceration, it would be part of me, right? And that's what I take forward to is that, and also challenge people to reflect, right? To reflect and look into it. Like, hey, you can't say this can't be done because it has done. So.
Yes, possibilities.
Yeah.
Sorry, same question to you.
I think probably my most profound takeaway from these experiences is that I matter, that all of us do, on the inside, on the outside, pre and post release, every member of our community, everybody serving that community in whichever capacity that they do. We all matter. And if we don't all matter, then none of us do. You know what I mean? Like everyone has to matter in order for us to hold that significance, to be able to make these changes. And it was through my experiences with USM Opportunity Scholars and CEPP and the Educational Justice Institute at MIT and the Alliance backing me on the inside that I didn't feel alone anymore. As an incarcerated person, for better or worse, when you feel like you don't matter, nothing you do matters. So it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It doesn't matter what the consequences are. And I saw that so often in my peers. And as someone who spent years with their shoulder to the grindstone, feeling like I wasn't gaining an inch, it was hard to feel like any good thing I did ever mattered. But the Alliance was my first home. It was my family. It was people who wanted me and believed in me and accepted me and saw something in me that I wasn't capable of seeing at the time. It opened my eyes and they showed me exactly how much I matter and exactly how much the good that I want for this world and the good that I do in this world will change this world.
Well, amazing. I think now is the time for us to transition to breakout rooms, right, Corinne? And so before we do all that, and I don't know what's going to happen to our screens, and where are we all going? I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming, and look forward to the breakout room section. But especially thank you to Tori and Lali for being willing to, highlight their experiences, highlight their expertise, start us off right in thinking about how this all started and where this all came from, and this document that you guys created, that I feel really lucky to have been a part of shepherding to its final product. And that I hope is a resource for everybody in this webinar and for everybody watching this webinar and for everybody in the future who's interested in expanding and implementing these opportunities for the incredible talent that is locked behind our carceral walls. I'm really missing Leo right now.